So everybody that's here, welcome. Week 2, those online, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for spending some time with us this evening on practical applications on for AI. And we're going to talk about the actual products you can use. If you remember, we talk about AI or artificial intelligence. It's nothing more than making computer-based machines think and act like us, right? We talked about several different types of AI. We talked about the history of AI, basically that it involves creating systems that can perform tasks requiring human intelligence, that encompasses learning, reasoning, problem solving, and understanding language. So we talked last week about the whole, problem solving, solving for X. What is this designed to do? We talked about the fact that AI is not cognitively self-aware yet. So, but we are looking at the concept of algorithms using a set of rules, a set of computation with data, raw information, and using models. And we'll talk about those models here in a minute. Basically, the brief AI history, it's not a new term. It's been developed way back in the 1950s. I got to be careful. Sorry, I got to watch my audience here. In the 1950s, John McCarthy pretty much coined that. He was worked with the supercomputers back in the day and did a lot of computational mathematical skills. He was very passionate about machine intelligence and that it someday, could do a lot of the engagement and tasks and things that we as humans do. So 3 types of AI that we talked about. Artificial intelligence is not confined to just movie recommendations and, hey, what's new on Amazon? And here's some suggested things that you can buy today. Virtual assistants, Alexa, Google Home used to be a thing. Does anybody remember Google Home? It's not really, I don't think they really kept pushing it. It's kind of like they kind of lost interest in development.
It was more in the home hub. And Amazon kind of did that.
Yeah, Amazon kind of took the wind there and really developed Alexa. I don't know. I'm not sure what version or iteration of Alexa they're at. It's probably like 5, 6, or 7. But Alexa, again, is still confined to its own domain, right? It's not like I think I explained, if I was an AI, I'm operating in this room. My programming only allows me to operate in this room with a certain amount of tasks. Same as Alexa, same as the machine learning types that we'll talk about. One of them is narrow or weak AI, which again is Alexa. It's your chat bots, things that are more focused on the verbal communications. So if I say, Alexa, play a song or play this or that, it's going to recognize Alexa, okay, you called my name, activated, play, I know that, 80s playlist, or my favorite song, or turn on the lights. So it knows those sequences. It knows how to string those together based on verbal commands. What I think is really neat, again, maybe it's not, we have 4 of them in our house spread out. And when we put on my in-laws' quarters for Lynette's parents, we got one way back there. So we can announce dinner is ready. So if you have not done that before, it's kind of cool because any device that has Alexa enabled, even the smart TV, we can be upstairs. We can say, Alexa, announce dinner is ready. And it will broadcast across even the TV. Now, the TV is cool because, like I said before, my father-in-law, he's 86. He needs visual as well as hearing. So if he's watching a show on the TV, it's a smart TV. There's a graphic, an image that comes up of a loaf of bread with eyes and a face, and it's saying dinner is ready. And we didn't tell it to do it. It's just something it defaulted to do. So, and it's funny because we could all be up in the kitchen, and after the announcement, 5 seconds later, we hear him coming down the hallway. It's like, okay, the only time he doesn't hear the message is if he's sleeping or, somewhere else in the house. But other than that, it's a great tool because we can also say, Alexa, drop in mom and dad's house. So from our Alexa to theirs, we can say, hey, have you guys done whatever, so and so, so we don't have to, again, is it lazy? Maybe. But when you're dealing with seniors, who have mobility or whatever, that's a great tool. It's a safety tool at that point. We can even connect it to our Ring camera system. So if I'm downstairs, working, I got my TV behind me, and there's somebody pulling up, I could say, Alexa, show me the front door, and it's going to pop up on my TV screen and show me the front door. I'm like, so again, it's things like that we're in this phase of culture where that's kind of like the common thing now. I mean, some of it takes squeaking, and some of you are probably like, I really don't have a use for that, but it's there, it's available. And it's the things we're talking about that are the useful tools. All right. So let me go to general AI. Again, a little more in depth. You're going now from the, Alexa voice-based chats into more of the computational, what they would call more generative AI, basically AI using its coding to generate a thing, more like an image or text or something related that takes more computational skills. Data mining, general AI would be more to what we spoke about with healthcare, diagnosis, treatment, those kind of things, patient safety, banking, fraud control, all those things are more of the general AI structure. And a lot of this too, we talked about last week, you don't even realize it's happening. When you get a robocall or when you get, a message of some kind, a lot of that is AI behind it. What it's doing in the background, chatbots. I love chatbots. Again, it's taken the human interaction out of that. And again, where I see that more effective, not so much in the larger businesses that have like call centers, but for someone like a mom and pop business that don't have the money for staffing, and they want to have a basic general AI set up for their phone triage system that can respond to things, or develop a website that obviously some people can go to and do e-commerce. They can have a chat bot on there that helps them with their own staffing or resources, till they get to that next stage where, hey, we can afford a person now or two people to do what this is doing. And then the super AI, that's going to get into the, now we're talking Elon Musk territory. All right, now we're talking the future, but honestly, not so much anymore. We used to say that general AI, we were 50 to 75% to that level. But if you walk into McDonald's, walk into any fast food, you can quickly encounter the kiosk, which is doing the job of more of a general AI function. Super AI is getting into the more the robotic sense of the autonomous stage. So now we're looking at more of the Teslas. We're looking at automation from a more of a decision making, more advanced decision making. So now it's beyond the whole robotic sense of I have to regenerate a path because this one's blocked. Now it's okay, I'm going to regenerate a path, maybe cut the distance, maybe report back something. So there's a whole lot of things that go into super AI. I would say with where we are at this point in our culture, with what's going on in SpaceX and all those places, we're probably just in the scratching of the surface point right now. With these new robots, if you take a look at them, I mean, you're looking at $100,000 just to have a robot walk around your house. I don't know. I mean, I used to think the Jetsons was a really cool cartoon. When we got our first Roomba, I thought that was the greatest thing until it started choking itself under the couch and everything else, which was funny because you can, you set up your robot vacuum and stuff, and you can set them to go off at different times, and they will learn. I mean, it's AI built in. It will learn a pattern. So if it will, will pick up your room structure. It will find obstacles and say, okay, that's more inanimate than something else. You could put something in the room that it has to go around. And if it does that enough times and then you take that thing away, it's going to still try to go around it till it figures out, oh, that's not there anymore. And then it will start, doing its thing. But it was tied into my cell phone and the smart TV as well. So I'm downstairs working in my office and it's going above my head. And I can hear it going over the heater grates, the vents are going doing its thing. And I'll hear it like kind of stop. And then I'll get an alert on my phone saying, Alexa needs, or Roomba needs help. Roomba needs help. So it's got itself wedged in a little spot back there. I'm like, come on, you're smarter than this.
Yeah.
So I'll go pull it out and say, there you go. So, but it's definitely not super AI. It's maybe at some point. But side note, we named our Roomba Rosie for two purposes. One, because of Jetsons, and second, my daughter's name is Rosie, so it was called Robo Rosie. Was the name of our Roomba. But sadly, Robo Rosie is no more. So let's talk about some practical applications, education. We'll talk some content creation ideas, small business, and a couple more, and talk about how AI enhances the products and services we use every day. So we kind of touched on smart assistants, AI powered voice assistants, smart control home devices, things that answer questions, set reminders, manage daily schedules. Thing about managing schedules and such, especially with Amazon and Google, is you have to have everything pretty much tied together in those sense, because if I keep my calendar on Outlook, Alexa doesn't see Outlook on my phone. It doesn't see Outlook. So you have to program that a little differently, which we don't have time to get into during this course. Same with Google Assistant. If I was using the Google Home piece, that's a little easier, because if I'm using Google Apps all the way through, I'm using Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets, Google Calendar, and I've kept that up to date, then Google's going to be more in tune to say, hey, you have a meeting at 3:30 today, or I could say, hey, Google, when's my doctor's appointment this week? You have a doctor's appointment at Thursday at 5 o'clock or something like that. So there still has to be a connected source to the data that you're asking. But I could say, which you couldn't a couple of years ago, I could say, Alexa, what's the traffic light like from here to Indianapolis? And she will basically say, well, right now it's clear. Travel time is 56 minutes. Or it will say, traffic is picking up. There's an accident on southbound 65, mile marker 130. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And I can say, okay, what's an alternate route to Indianapolis? Or say an address, and she would say maybe, go down through Frankfurt, pick up 47, whatever, and and reroute. So those technologies are building and getting better as it goes, because again, the learning structure, the way it's coded and programmed and developed, it's definitely something that's kind of growing. Thermostats, smart energy management. Does anybody have like a Nest? Okay, a couple of you. Ecobee, okay. They learn your patterns. They learn the conditions outside, inside, when you're home, when you're not home. If you have husband and wife pitting for the thermostat control, I always get yelled at to leave it alone when it's this time of year. So I said, okay, fine, let the Ecobee figure it out or something. But those can save energy, right? There are things that you can install now that are going to learn habits. It's going to learn patterns. We talked about patterns last week. AI is about patterns. If it says, okay, this thing happens every time, but then there's an anomaly, then it's going to say, okay, that's a one-off anomaly. What do I do with that? I either fix it, avoid it, change it, or wait. Maybe it's a new pattern. For example, weather. Our weather's getting wacky. You know, we're and the Google Nests and the thermostats are picking up on. Well, it's 60s, and traditionally last year it was in the 40s, and there was snow this time, so now I have to change how I heat the house or something, right? Security systems. I love security systems, especially out where we live, and you use it a lot. Donnie uses it for taking care of his mom and such, where facial recognition is part of some of that. If you buy some of the more expensive ones, the Ring systems and some of the other ones out there will identify a person versus an animal, movement versus something that it shouldn't. So I don't like my alerts going off all the time. So I can program it and say, I want you to figure this out. Do something different so that I'm only getting the alerts that I want. I could also tell it that what the scope is. Maybe I don't want a whole wide area to watch. I just want a narrow area right around my door entrance or right around my window, because that's what I want to watch. So if something happens in that area, it's going to alert me and say, hey, you got some activity here. You better check it. So what's hard about that is that when you have a wife that works at a bakery and has to leave at 1:30 in the morning, yeah, I have to tell my phone, it's okay. Just, unless there's something serious, I don't really care. It's fine. All right. Students. There's a lot of things here. This gets kind of controversial in a way when it comes to essays and writings and stuff. A lot of students like to use AI, like to use ChatGPT. Well, there are teachers now, and there are applications that teachers have that can search for plagiarism, and it will actually pick up. If I take a student's document and I can run it through an AI, it will tell me a certain percentage of what's been copied, used, AI, and so forth. And I know there's been colleges and high schools that have basically used that as a grading system and said, no, this is definitely AI. So, but there's a lot of practical advantages to this. Adaptable learning styles and paths, applications like Khan's Academy, Udemy, and that's just a sample. I use Khan's all the time for different things. We've used it as a homeschool family. It will definitely do a good job of figuring out where your kid's at, where your child is struggling, where if there's a different path and like a math or a science and those kind of things, to say, here's your weakness. Maybe you want to try going here first, learn this, and then come back to this. So that's a really cool feature. It also has a lot of these new learning platforms have what they call gamification. Actually, it's being now adapted into metrics and goals for hospitals and businesses. So they're gamifying metrics for different goals and things like that for an organization. But gamification is basically saying, hey, you achieved this mastery skill, you're going to get a ding ding token or something like that. You're going to get a trophy, and kind of neat for folks, kids like that who are more competitive. One thing to be competitive on the sports field, but then to be more academically competitive is another thing. So it kind of plays to that sense of social media in a sense. Here's your little award, your little button, and you just keep storing those up. And, some parents can use that too as a reward system. You finish this many lessons, get this many tokens, and it's ice cream night, pizza night, movie night, some of those things. So more of those positive incentives. Learning languages, speech recognition. Like we talked about that last week. We were talking about the whole super AI at some point, bringing the languages of the world together and making it One World, Tower of Babel speaking thing. We knew that didn't work out a couple thousand years ago. Here we are again. AI, let's give it another shot. Let's see what happens. Okay, try the same thing. Speech recognition, pronunciation practice, interactive exercises. Rosetta Stone was one that came out a couple years ago. It's been around for a long time. Babbel, I hear that on advertising every other minute. I don't know where they get their marketing money. But I think we were watching the basketball games this past, weekend or whatever. I think Babbel commercial came on 5 or 6 times in a half hour. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't need this anymore. I don't know if there's AI telling me, hey, you need to do this kind of thing. Like, I have no interest, really. And then Duolingo, our kids use that. It's kind of a cute little program for kids. It's got a little owl that kind of helps you progress through your language studies. AI-driven study tools, quizzes, flashcards. You can actually take things that you've learned or things that you're studying, and it will generate flashcards and quizzes specifically for that area or the area of struggle. When I was going through doing some certification courses a year or two ago, I was doing some project management courses, and there's to pass my test I had to get like an 80 or above. I mean, they don't use percentages, it's more of a point system, so I had to get like 500 to 600 points, however that works. So what's nice about it is it will break it down in your different disciplines. So there's like 6 or 7 different disciplines in project management. So I was like, let's say I was struggling with number 5, had to do with, let's say, communication styles or budgeting or task association, whatever. And I had to, okay, I have to go back and will tell me where I'm at, how far I need to go to complete that. So the whole goal was to get me proficient and to pass the test, right? Because I mean, it can be proficient, but employer wants to see, hey, did you check the box? Yeah, but I don't know what I'm doing. I checked the box. So, I mean, I want to obviously make sure they're getting value, I'm getting value, and the system's figuring that out. All right, research tools. Finding relevant research papers is a great tool for this, and we're actually going to do this here in a little bit. We're going to go through some exercises here on this. Summarizing key points and suggesting related readings. We're going to look at that. There's some examples. I have not played with any of these. These are some things I found online. Semantic Scholar, Research Rabbit. The nice thing about AI and having this available, it's 24/7. So if I'm cramming or, for a test or I need quick answers, fire up my laptop, go to ChatGPT, go to some of these other applications, and I've got an online tutor right there at my beckoning call, 24/7. Offering feedback on different assignments. I can actually I don't have one prepared today, but in either one of these, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's ScribeSense, whether it's Copilot, I can take a document, a digital one that's saved on my computer. I can drag it into the chat and I can say, what are some things I need to do? How can I make this more grammatically professional or those kind, whatever. And it will give me suggestions. It'll rewrite it for me using my same context and content and give me another output. I don't like that. And I say, you know what, make some changes. I could tell it, do this in less than 500 words. Make this, write this as if it's for executive level. And it will go back and will rewrite everything that I just did into more of a format for who my audience is. So we're going to talk about how to write the script. We're going to talk about scripting tonight. What is the script? To let the AI know exactly what you want it to do. And I will also reference tonight in my email later. I do have some YouTube videos out there specifically on this, how to craft your script exactly the way you want it, so you're getting the best results. So what I'm going to start by doing is I'm going to take this. We're going to start this way. I'm going to go ahead and have it summarize a narrative. So I'm going to say I'm doing a project for school, using this from a student perspective, and I want to summarize screw tape letters. Have you ever read screw tape letters from C.S. Lewis?
See the play next week.
Are you really down in Indy? I couldn't get tickets for it. My son and I were going to go down. Yeah, that's going to be really cool on stage. All right, and here we go. So it's going to give me a basic narrative of the characters and what it's about. Now I could really narrow this down even more if I wanted to. All right, so I'm going to not read the whole thing, but it's just talking about screw tape letters being written by C.S. Lewis, satirical novel in the form of letters written from a senior demon named Screwtape to his inexperienced nephew Wormwood. I think I read this back in 8th grade. It was a long time ago, but it's a pretty good book. I could say I can modify this, and I could say. So I could say modify this in the tone of Gandalf the Grey. And it's going to basically take what it will know as how Gandalf would speak and turn it into that. So, dear reader, unfolds the tale. You'll listen to it in Gandalf's voice, right? Screwtape's an old wily creature, netherworld council, not grand temptations. So there's other advanced things I could probably do. I don't have today. Get audio from this, but that's not a today thing.
How do you get ChatGPT? Is it on?
It is free. Yep.
You have to download.
You can just use it right online. It's basically you just type in chatgpt.com, chatgpt.com. I think it's in the notes somewhere, and it will take you. You can create an account. It's free to do, free account, and you have access to a bunch of different. Forever, however you want to use it. Now there's a paid version that will give you more access to different things. Like I've done presentations. You can actually develop a PowerPoint. You can use what's called Veed, which is a video tool. It would actually create a video. So if I said, well, let's see if it will let me do this. Okay, so it's actually going to create the video script for this. Actually, what it's going to do. But I could take this scene right there. So opening, intro, and visual. Dark, misty landscape for candlelit study with old mystical books, letters scattered around. Narration in a Gandalf-like voice. In a tale both cunning and strange, we enter the dark world of the Screwtape letters. So I forget how I did this last time. Let me see if it will let me do it. And it tells you tips for execution, voiceovers, music, overlays. This video should be about 1 to 2 minutes long. Be edited in Adobe Premiere Pro and Canva video type thing. So there is, I don't see it here, but this video GPT is where I can actually take this script now and import it in here. Now it takes a lot of time. It would take about 15 to 30 minutes. So I want to do that now. But I will take it before next week and I will plug it in here and see what it comes up with. Again, it's not going to be something that's cinematically ready. It's going to be very rudimentary. You'll have the person who's designing it, again, AI being a tool, I would have to go in and do my editing, whatever I want to do. I don't like this, I don't like that, substitute some things. Actually, I could create, if I said create a 4-second generative AI video. Let's get started on a 4-second video. Could you tell me a bit more about the theme, style? Well, let's see here. Let's go back here for the moment. And let's just see if I take this. Let's see what it's going to do here for me. If anything, it may be a bust. So right now it's going through creating, what it thinks is going to be the scripting, the setting. Let's see how far down it's going. Oh, it's actually putting in the whole. Okay, if this aligns with your vision, say continue. So what I can do now is I can go through all this and say, okay, yes, I like the setting, I like the character, the elements, audio is great. So I'm actually going to say continue. So again, live TV, let's see what we come out with. So it's actually starting the action. All right, now it wants to talk to Veed, so it wants me to now take this and allow it to give it permission. Again, within its script, within its coding, I'm going to go ahead and say allow. So now it's going to take what it's designing, put it into Veed, which is another AI platform for music and video and stuff, and it's going to. Okay, so now it looks like. Click here to view and edit your video. All right, drum roll. Here we go. Okay, accept. Oh, I'm excited. I am pumped right now. All right, here we go. Well, it's only a 4-second video. Okay.
Hey, you got the gist.
But hey, I mean, do I not have audio on this one? But that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, for that, if you wanted to pay for more, you could do that. Log in to save my progress. But in any case, now I can, if I wanted to, I could take the rest of this here and edit it. I could change some backgrounds. I could, change the voiceover down here. So yeah, there's some elements over here to use. So there we are. Let's say I wanted to find some low-cost science projects. I'm going to go back into my GPT and I'm going to tell it that I want to find 5 low-cost science projects for 5th graders. So include biology and earth science.
It's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
So what we got? We got, maize, plant maize, biology, materials, we got everything here. Shoebox, tape, paper, bean, pea seeds, soil. Cut small holes, tells you exactly how to do it. The lesson, students learn about phototropism, the way plants grow towards light sources. If you're familiar with tropism, I used to play with this all the time with my plants and the kids where, it's growing up and you turn it around away from the sun. By the next morning, it's reaching out again. So it's different from photosynthesis, but I'm a geek in there. So I have another channel called STEM with Steve. So anyway, shameless plug right there. Lava in a cup. I think those are cool. Some of these are actually done. Growing crystals, do-it-yourself ecosystem. So, I mean, quickly, seriously, I need a project for school. Here it is. It's not doing the project. It's giving me the ideas and so forth. I could say, create a lesson plan for number 5. Teachers in the room. Here you go.
Just unreal.
Lesson plan right there. Fifth grade earth science, duration 45 to 60 minutes, understanding the concepts of weather and erosion. When I was a teacher, I could have very much used this. Materials needed, preparation. And I mean, this is amazing, isn't this? 10 minutes. So teachers, if you're online listening to this, I just made your job so much more easier. Let's see what else I got. Oh, let's do this. Show me 5 books on this topic. Here are 5 engaging, age-appropriate books on weathering, erosion, and earth science for 5th graders. Now what I can do is copy and paste that in Amazon and see if it's available. Are these books available on? Oh, yeah. Here's some of the books I found on Amazon related to the topic erosion, National Geographic, right there. This book covers rocks and minerals concepts, fun facts for readers. Gave me a link of the for the book. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find direct listing for the other books you asked about. However, you can search for them on Amazon directly or visit other books and retailers. So I can basically open that link up, and it's going to take me to the publisher. There it is.
Oh my gosh.
Now from there, I can.
I do a lot of game nights.
Oh yeah.
And I run out of games. Okay, say I've got 8 70-year-old old ladies coming to my house for a game night.
You want me to type that in?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to create a new chat.
We're in Indiana. You play you.
Show me 5 board games.
I don't hear any kind of games.
Let's just do
Okay, board games.
board games.
For 70-year-old ladies. Seniors, there you go.
Oh.
Okay.
How about seniors over 70?
There you go.
There you go.
There we go. Any specifics you're looking for?
Easy, but simple. There's nothing worse than a game that takes 2
Okay.
hours.
Should be
I'm gonna be asleep by then.
simple and for 4 players.
There you go. Just curious. Oh, but look at that so quickly. Because Christmas is coming up. I know it.
Let's go on to a little bit more in content creation. We actually kind of covered some of this as well. We're going to go through it a little bit more as well in context. So for content creators, myself, for people who do blog posts, articles, social media captions, product descriptions, this could be for a small business, could be for marketing, anything. How do we use ChatGPT, AI kind of tools to help us design marketing materials, custom illustrations, generating images. There's a couple that I use specifically. I do use Canva. I use Copilot. I use a bunch. I have like maybe 6 different tools, AI related, that help me in content generation and just ideas. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to say find trending topics in the field of AI. And let's just start there. Nice and easy. As of 2024, and it's again emerging trends, generative AI and personalization. We talked about that. AI in healthcare, quantum AI. Again, you can see there's links for some of this as well. So quantum AI is again going to fall into that super AI we talked about earlier. The convergence of quantum computing and AI holding some potential. AI regulation and ethics. Talk about that next week. Don't forget. AI in business strategy and decision making. Again, that's going to be in your general AI category, taking data and mining that data to find trends, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in business, markets, finances, all those things. What would normally take somebody hours in a spreadsheet, now that data can be pulled out and used very quickly. All right. Let me find something here that I really think is going to be important. Let's do this. Going to, I'm going to change this category up a little bit. Write a YouTube video script about practical uses for AI. Must be 60 seconds long and entice a general consumer audience why they need to attend this class.
Where would that be at?
No idea. I just came up with it.
Right.
Oh my gosh, look at that. It's a whole conversation.
Script for, okay, here you go. Friendly, engaging intro with upbeat background music. Here we go. Hey there, curious about artificial intelligence? How to make your life easier? Well, you're in the right place. Blah, blah, blah. There you go. And depending on how quick you talk, you can get that done in 60 seconds. Throw some different screen transitions in there. Hey, I might use this.
There you go.
Thank you. So why wait? Sign up today. So can you see, from a small business perspective, someone can't afford to hire a marketing person. I can't afford to hire an ad person. Here I go. Now I just got to find somebody, typically a teenager, that can put this all together and get it up on social media. And that's how easy this has become. I mean, radio is still a thing, obviously TV advertisements, but your market, your culture is followed by your phone. It's followed by social media platforms. That's where, look at the elections. Look at anything that you're trying to gain interest, you're trying to grab a demographic. When I look at, YouTube will monitor my trends and who's watching. My demographic is typically 29 to 30 or 35-year-old market is where, is where who's watching my videos. I have a small little demographic that's, more in the 50 to 60 range. But right, right, that's where I'm at, right? But here you go. That's where this is at. So on another level, okay, let's do this. Modify this in the tone of a cartoon character. Hiya, pals. Have you ever wondered how artificial intelligence can make your life more fun and easy? Well, guess what? AI is not just for scientists, it's for you. So now you've just taken it from an adult audience and moved it down into a kids audience. Let's see, create some marketing content for our new flux capacitor. Target middle-aged men who work on cars. I'm not stereotypical, sorry. Just going there. Let's see what we got. It's so quick. I don't understand how it takes it. So we'll go back up. Revolutionize your garage. Again, talking about car enthusiasts. Meet the flux capacitor. Anybody know where I got that from, right? Back to the Future. You know that product is actually available on AutoZone.
Really?
There's a part number. It's a secret part number. If you put it in AutoZone's website, the flux capacitor comes up. All right, here's the benefits. Again, from a marketing sales perspective, the benefits, again, grabbing the attention of the seasoned mechanic, the DIYer, the key features, what are you waiting for? There's the call to action. It's all right there. So I started out coding in, COBOL, BASIC, and Fortran way back in the 80s. That was like how I got into all this, doing business applications. Things got so much more easier as time went on with what they call object-oriented coding and more scripting, which is more of a human language. So it wasn't math intensive anymore. It's like, you can type out certain words and syntax in the right order and get a result. All right, with programming, Python being one of them. Actually Python's a very good coding language for even elementary schoolers to use. It actually is that easy. And then there's a lot more advanced features. But in this version, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it write a Python script to calculate simple interest loan at 5% over 15 years. Starting balance of $25,000. And this may not mean a lot to most of you or any of you for that matter, but when I saw this, I'm like, wow, life would have been so easy 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So what it does is it knows enough. And what I like, it even breaks out the math formulas for you. P is principal, R is interest rate, T is time in years. So it's basically taking this formula and saying, here's what it looks like in a coding language. Okay, all that right there. It explains to you what the different values are, tells you what it's supposed to look like from an output perspective. So there's your 15 years, there's your rate, there's your simple interest, and there's your total payback on $25,000 loan. That's a lot of interest right there, right? So if I wanted to check that, all right, I could take and copy that code into an online Python generator. So this is basically what they call a compiler. So it takes the code and interprets it into an actual what the user would see, what I would see sitting at my computer. So I can say, okay, I'm going to put that code in there, and I'm going to run the entire script as if the computer's going to do its job. And down here you can see the actual results. So the script works. There's no errors, there's no bugs. It just ran smooth. I know when I've done coding, I'm always debugging. I'm always seeing issues. I'm seeing something. This thing did it flawlessly. I love it. So I'm going to go back here again, and I'm going to say, I want to modify this a little bit. I want to modify the script to account for an extra 2 payments of $150 per year. It's going to go take the original script, and it's going to plug in the coding values that it needs. And there you go. So extra payments, $4,500, and it knocked me down a little bit there to payback of $43,451. All right, so now what I can do, I can say, well, that's great, but I want more interaction. All right, so I want to be able to, as the user, be able to plug numbers in, not just the static numbers that are there. So I want to modify the script to allow user input for the loan amount, interest rate, extra payments, and number of years. It's going to go back. It's going to figure all that out, plug in the extra code that it needs. All right. And there's the example of what that's going to look like, but I can't run it here. I have to run it from the actual compiler. So I'm going to take that code, going to copy it in here. I'm going to clear all this out. And I'm going to plug that in there. I'm going to rerun the script. Now what do I got? I've got an input that's waiting for me. So I can say loan amount, $25,000. Enter the interest rate as a percentage. Let's just say 3. Number of years. I'll do 20. Something different. Enter the number of payments per year. Enter the extra payments per year. What I'm going to put 100. Let's put $100. And there it is.
Oh, it's like mortgage rate. I mean, that's exactly.
There it is.
Yeah,
Right.
That's
And I just programmed that.
You just code or programmed that in 2 minutes.
Yep, 2 minutes. And seriously, that's what behind the scenes, that's what it looks like. I mean, you can go into any website and find the back end coding. It's all there. You don't see. You want to see the visual. Yeah, you don't care. I just want to know it works.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So before that, you had to type all that code in.
Every line of it, item by item,
And then debug.
and then run it through a script, debug it.
Then you just type in chat. Please debug it.
So there are automated testing tools. There are code generation tools and auto completion tools. GitHub, Copilot, this test IM, Applitools. You take your final product, you run it through that. It's going to test it for you and say if it's ready for production or if it needs more work. All right. Well, we've gone through a lot tonight. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, techskillscoach@gmail.com. And thank you very much for attending. Thank you for those who joined online.